And good morning all. Well, it's morning for me anyway. Today I want to give you a bit of a crazy view on what it's like after you have your baby in China. What happens next? Right after this. Subscribe. Now, I need to give you a bit of culture, a bit of history before I get into what happened. In China for many, many years, hundreds of years, Chinese have had this thing after they have their baby, where the mother and the child isolation, meaning they don't go outside, they go inside, hide inside, they wrap themselves from top to bottom. They are super careful on getting infected or getting contaminated, I still can't work it out, but anyway, as much research I can do about this culturally, it's a bit crazy for a Westerner, where the mother won't wash themselves after having a baby, after being through the whole ordeal. They will not let water touch their body or wash themselves or wash their hair for a month, sometimes more. At the same time, the baby is not allowed to go out into the world or leave basically the baby's home, preferably even the hospital environment, for a month. And in this month, both the mother and the baby get very isolated care, special meals, special food. You know, the mother has to have food where there's no salt, no sugar, none of this, none of that, none of this, and nothing but real boring food. No taste at all. And there's all these theories, lots of special foods that they should eat at certain times through this month. Yeah. Now this gets very complicated. Whereas in the West, you have a baby, you get out the hospital, first thing you want to do is take your baby and go and visit everybody, and you take your baby around everywhere. You can take your baby out shopping with you because you have to and you don't have any choice. But here in China, the family will come around you to help you isolate yourself as a mother, so you don't have to go out, and you can try to have this month, this period of recovery, as they would call it. Now sure, you're a mother, you've gone through having a baby, your body's been through a bit, you've been a bit pounded and stretched and everything else, and it could take some time to recover. But in the West we have this concept, well, it's best recovering by moving, by being physical, getting your blood circulating, getting your body working and getting busy. It helps you recover. But in China, they want the mother to lay in bed almost for a month, do nothing. We had our baby, you'll see that video in my video list. If you haven't, go back and check it out. We had a baby in China, and we ended up, it just happened, she was born right on the brink of COVID outbreak in China. Now, we're locked up in this hospital for our 3-4 days after the surgery. We'd already planned the good Chinese way, and because we were worried about, well, I wasn't worried, the mother-in-law and the wife were worried of trying to get the a good level of care and isolation and protection and follow this monthly process. So, wanting to follow traditions, they decided to find a place to go to. And there's many of them in China. Incredibly expensive. Some of them are just crazy. It's like sending your wife and your child to a 5-star resort to get pampered and looked after, and the baby looked after 24 hours a day, so the mother can do nothing and just relax, down to a pretty normal hotel arrangement, where it's like a hotel room and they have consistent care, they have special meals prepared, and these cost anywhere from 20,000 up to 250,000 or more in a high-end place in, say, downtown Shanghai. So we opted for something, I think we paid somewhere around about 40,000 for a month. And I'll show you some photos here as I talk. But the rooms are pretty average, pretty simple. They would have nurses on staff. They're not all qualified nurses, but some of them, there's a few of them that are. There's a doctor that would come once a week, organised from some local hospital. The doctor would come once a week and do the rounds and go around and check every baby in every different room. And we're in a place here that's got, I think there was 60 different rooms. Now, in these rooms, usually the family's allowed to stay. There's usually the mother-in-law even will come and be there. The husbands can stay there. Now, because of COVID hit and the whole place started in Qingdao, perfect timing, the place was going under lockdown. So we thought, oh, well, that's fine. We don't know about this virus. We don't know what's going on and how bad this virus is, but it doesn't sound too good in Wuhan, closing down the whole city. And it was right on when this was all going on. So we get moved from the hospital. These people from where we're going, they come and take us in this special van, which you can see here. This wrap my wife from head to toe, and then we end up shuttle us to the monthly caring place. And we find during COVID, this could be a good deal because we don't have to stress. We've paid for everything already, and we're going to have 1 month of just hiding in here, away from the virus, away from everything. We don't have to go and buy any shopping. We're just living here. And we can just immerse ourselves and have fun with our newborn baby. Now, it didn't turn out exactly like we'd planned. Because it was on Chinese New Year, and then the COVID crisis came, we had a bit of a problem. Because the venue we went to had a staffing problem. People didn't come back. They didn't have enough people to look after the people who were already booked and paid to be there. So because people couldn't come there for the isolation and the restrictions of travel around China, a lot of the staff couldn't come back, but some of them actually come from other province, out of Qingdao. We were fortunate in some ways because there happened to be a training supervisor, lead trainer from Beijing. The head office was down, and this is like a franchise operation. So we just happened to have this senior trainer who's like the expert, and would go around to all these franchises to train all the staff on how to look after the children, all the procedures, all the controls. Now, because of COVID, we had more restrictions on entry into this place because, of course, we've got a building just full of mothers and babies, mothers that have all had their babies, and lots of very young babies, newborns that are only, from anywhere from a day to a month old, all going through the same process. So it was exciting. Then all we were worried about is, well, are these staff in our facility here, are they coming and going? Are they going out and bringing the virus in with them? My wife was going crazy with this, freaking out about, oh my God, the virus is going to come in. These people are going to bring it in with them. And to make it more exciting, because of the restrictions, the venue we went to, this monthly caring centre, they had shut down the place for their own controls, trying to make it safe and stop the virus. The bloody virus, stop the bloody virus from coming in. So we couldn't go out and do anything. I couldn't go out and get a change. I didn't bring enough clothes. So I in the first 5 days, I couldn't even go out to go and get some more clothes from our apartment, which was only 2 kilometres down the street, for God's sake. So the virus impact was very interesting. And then as we go on, we start panicking about, are these staff in the venue, are they going out? Are they coming in? Where's the food coming from? Is the food getting made? The food was actually getting made by a hotel nearby in their restaurant. And then there's the question, well, who's touching that food? Who's making our dinner? Who's making the food that's coming in? Are they contaminated? Have they got the virus? And all we could see, we're sticking there, we're in isolation with a newborn baby and trying to follow these rules that they have in terms of what you should do for the baby every day, and follow their Chinese guides, which I found very, very different. I didn't agree with many things and had lots of trouble with my experience of how to look after a child, because this is not my first, okay? I've done this before, I've got a bit of experience, and from a West perspective, these people were trying to do some crazy things about how things should be, what you should and shouldn't do for your baby, and I didn't agree with all of it, so that was a bit stressful. The culture gap and the difference in the cultures for something special like this, that's special for China, it's really interesting to deal with and to go through. I said before, we were lucky in some ways that they were understaffed, and each family that was in there had been allocated a person to look after them, like a person, like a nurse, to be there to look after them, help them with their baby and wash their baby every day, and even come and care for their baby, to give the mother time to relax, and the list goes on of what they were doing for each family and each mother in those places, in this place. We were lucky in some ways because the lack of staff meant that the training person that was there, who's their expert from Beijing, she actually couldn't go back to Beijing because of the lockdown in China. She couldn't travel. So she was stuck now in Qingdao. All her family, she had to spend she missed going back to Beijing to spend time with her family for Chinese New Year. basically she was stuck with us. So we were spending Chinese New Year together in this place. We also couldn't have our parents with us for Chinese New Year because it was a Chinese New Year. We just had the baby just on Chinese New Year. So here we are at the start of Chinese New Year. We're isolated in this monthly caring centre with thinking it's good because it's safe from the virus, but the virus lockdown across China had isolated travel everywhere. The streets were empty. No one was allowed to go out anywhere. So our parents were actually isolated as well. They had to go home and stay in their apartment. They couldn't come and visit. They weren't allowed to come in fear they would bring the virus into the caring centre and contaminate all these babies. You know, this caring centre was a bit like being on a cruise ship. It was under massive lockdown, and you know, it was pretty insane. You know, the days go on. I'm frustrated with some of the cultural differences, and I don't understand why they need to do this or that. I didn't agree with this. Hey, it's my baby. I don't like that. We should just do this. And I'm living in there, stuck in there like a prisoner. And then it gets really exciting. Then we find they can't control the staff. They can't control which people are coming and going. Some people have to go. We got so nervous that we actually left. We decided we would get out early because we wanted to be in a place we could control. So we'd paid $40,000 for the month. 2 weeks into that, we bailed. We left and left our money on the table, didn't take anything. We went home to our own apartment so we could be doing our own thing and feel we can control the environment. We weren't sure about where the food's coming, is that going to be clean? All kinds of things. The fear of the coronavirus here was quite real. That was our experience with the baby in the monthly caring centre. It wasn't like it was going to be. My wife wasn't happy with things as it was and the service, and they add the coronavirus on top of it. It was crazy. So timing's everything. Maybe a different time it would have been different, more relaxing and more fun and more wonderful for everybody. But doing this during the coronavirus, it was complicated, it was confusing, it was crazy. All right, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.